Hello, welcome back to Gray the Gold Witch. Today we're doing a reading on what needs less and what needs more in your life. There's 4 piles today. The first pile is this beautiful crystal. The second pile is clear quartz. The third pile is rose quartz. And the fourth pile is opalite. So take a second, pause the video if you need to meditate on the piles. You can also use a random number generator to pick your pile. I sometimes do that. And yes, I will see you in your reading. Hey, pile 1, if you chose this crystal, then this is your reading on what needs less and what needs more. So we are going to look, on this side is what needs less, and on this side is what needs more. So we have Chiron, Be Free, Do What You Love, and the Gem. And then we have Sublimation, You Can't Find Goodness Because You Lost Your Heart, and the Empty Room. Okay, pile 1. So what I'm immediately seeing for you is that this is a perspective shift. And I wanted to say, when I got into channeling your energy, I heard Dawns by Zach Bryan and Maggie Rogers playing. And I also heard, or I saw the creation of Adam from the Sistine Chapel. And those were just very vivid. So I thought I would tell you. And also I'm feeling that you are giving a lot of your energy away to other people. And so the first message I have for what needs less and what needs more is more time tending to yourself and setting boundaries and knowing when you need to focus your energy on yourself and not feeling bad about it. This kind of feels like you are learning how to set boundaries without feeling guilt or shame. And I totally get it. And I think it's just important to remember that other people's feelings are not your responsibility, and you need to do what's best for yourself. So, yeah, let's get into the actual reading now, though. So what I'm seeing for you, pile 1, is this is a perspective shift that's going to put you more into your power. This really, I think, what needs more is you coming into your power. And what I'm seeing is there's something in your life that you're seeing from like rose-colored glasses. You're looking at it from an idealistic lens. And this could be a person in your life. This could be a leader in your life or a career, or it's something that you are projecting a lot of beauty onto. And I think you're really projecting characteristics within you onto this thing. I see that you have been through a very deep healing process, and you have had to purge out some very difficult energies and very difficult experiences to grow in yourself. And that alone should give you confidence in yourself, because this is a very difficult thing to do. But you are on the other side of it. And I see that whatever this thing is that you project onto in your outside environment, you see that it has the potential to heal in the way you have, and it has the potential to be great. And I think you really see the potential in it rather than the reality of it. This is reminding me also of In My Head by Ariana Grande. I saw potential without seeing credentials. Baby, that's the issue. Don't hold that against you. This feels like you are really seeing the potential of a person, place, or thing, and thinking it has this free-spirited quality. And I feel like it's how you register what this thing is I'm seeing that it's not working out for you. I'm seeing you're meeting a lot of resistance towards this, and it's something that you really want to have in your life. But Spirit's saying this isn't working out as a blessing to you. And you're really idealizing this and seeing it from a reality that doesn't exist. Because I'm seeing that this person refuses to do the healing work necessary to become this person that's developed. And you're meant to look at this from a higher perspective and realize that in the big picture, you're projecting potential onto this person, but you need to look at what's actually there, or onto this thing, or whatever it is. Hi, Muna. Where do you want to go? You want to sit in my lap? No? So what's really like calling to me here is that this beautiful energy is inside of you. You have really mined through like the rubble of your life to find this gem within you and embrace it, and to relight this flame and really follow your passions. And this energy, like this is like what you want the colors of this situation to be, of this noun to be, but the reality of this thing is much darker and gloomy and gives off an Edgar Allan Poe vibe, or maybe an Edward from Twilight. That's weird. He didn't treat his girl well. Anyway, I'm seeing that this person, where you think there's a gem, there's emptiness, there's a void within this person. This person's looking to fill this void any way they can. And I feel like they're really selfish in their energy, or this person, place, or thing. Just take it how it resonates for you, because you'll know what this is, because it's something you crave or you desire, but it's not working, or it's not fitting the mold that you, or the image that you think it has. So what Spirit's really asking you to do is look at this from the big picture. Look at this person, place, or thing's actions rather than its words. Because I think if you really look closely, a lot of what you desire or love in this situation isn't really there. You can see that the possibility is there, that if this person does the work you've done, they can have this happiness. But right now there's a void that they're not filling. And this situation's draining your confidence and draining your happiness, because you projected all of this out onto this thing when it's not there. It's taking from your energy, because this is energy you've cultivated. And I think that as this thing becomes more resistant or less connected to your life, you're really picturing it going out like in a way that you would, with like a desire towards new passions and new things, and you feel a little like abandoned by it. But the truth of the matter is this person, place, or thing is just going towards more darkness. And that's why Spirit's getting you out of this situation, is because you're not meant to go down that road with them. And I think it's going to hurt at first to look at this from a higher perspective and see the darkness that's in this situation, the true colors of it. But it'll give you a lot more peace and a lot more energy, because the fact you're projecting this beauty onto this thing is really hurting your power and hurting how you perceive yourself in the world. And what you're projecting is what you have. As you continue on, you'll have this fire, and you crave this freedom and to do what you love. And what you're projecting onto this person is what you really want. And you know that you are in this position where you're meant to help others and lead them through their healing. And you want to help this person heal, but they're not one of the people you're meant to heal. You're meant to go towards what feels truly aligned with your soul. And you can pray that this person cracks through the rubble and finds the gem within them and is able to love themselves or see the beauty in themselves like you're able to see it. But that's not the reality right now. And Spirit's really asking you to get out of fantasy and into reality here. And this perspective shift will give you a lot of relief and give you a lot of personal power. Because I feel like you have an attachment to this thing showing you this beauty, and it won't. The more you hold on to this, the more it will go towards this shadow energy. I keep hearing, baby, that's the issue. Don't hold that against you from in my head. I think that also looking at this reality will make you more forgiving of this person. And I think you're really meant to lean on your higher power and see the blessings they put in your life and look at this from a bigger picture, that you were projecting this out onto someone else to make it easier on you because you have this beauty inside of you. It was easier to project it out and crave it elsewhere because it takes the weight off of you. But as long as you rely on Spirit, the weight will be taken off of you regardless. So don't put it into something that drains your energy and drains your power and doesn't align with your soul's path. Do it in a way that brings you closer to Spirit and allows you to see clearly rather than what you want to see, because you're going to be much happier once you allow yourself to see the reality of this. This is a sad situation, and you're not meant to save this person. You're meant to go towards this color in your life and find the satisfaction and know that it can't be found here. Wow, okay. So you definitely, if you made it this far, you know what this is referring to, and you know if this is your pile. So we're going to get into the tarot cards for more context into this situation and what you need to know about it. So, Spirit, what do you want to tell pile 1 about this situation and how they're moving forward? Okay. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords. Wow. The Eight of Wands in reverse. The Knight of Swords. And the Lovers in reverse. I'm hearing Me by Taylor Swift now. It seems like this was something that you really thought was going to lead to long-term fulfillment, was going to lead to long-term happiness. And that didn't happen. If anything, it brought you further away from that. It took you on a path out of that for yourself. And what Spirit's saying is that in your life right now, there's emotional fulfillment and clarity of mind and a clarity of how you should move forward. And Spirit's saying there's a lot of new beginnings in your life right now, and you can either focus on the one that didn't happen or focus on the new ones. You choose what you put your energy into. Spirit's recommending you to completely cut off this chapter that isn't aligned with you. And they're recommending that you don't contact this person, place, or thing, but move on, because this chapter has ended. And you're meant to focus on what gives you emotional fulfillment and what gives you intellectual fulfillment as well. What broadens your mind. You're someone who loves to learn, and I can see that there's a lot for you to learn in your life right now, and there's a lot for you to cherish and nurture. And I'm just hearing the more you focus on this, the more it's a wrong choice for you, the more you focus on a wrong choice. And you might feel like, I think you're someone who's very respectful and caring, and the situation didn't show you the same regard. So I think Spirit's saying it's time for you to be a bit more brash and a bit more not immature, but just, I think you feel weird about just ending a situation abruptly, or not giving this person an explanation, or not giving this thing a proper conclusion. But Spirit's saying you're meant to just be assertive here and move on. I'm hearing as fast as you can. Okay, what's that song by Bob Dylan? Don't think twice, it's all right. That's what I'm really seeing here. Goodbye is too good a word, babe, so I'll just say fare thee well. I'm not saying you treated me unkind. You could have done much better, but I don't mind. You just kind of wasted my precious time, but don't think twice, it's all right. I see you having this humorous perspective towards the situation fairly quickly after you really let it go, because you have this emotional fulfillment and this intellectual fulfillment in your life. You already have fulfillment in your life, and so focusing on that will just give you a lot more peace than this past situation did. I'm really hearing just leave it in the dust, move on. You already have all the closure you need. And nothing lasts forever. It really just feels like you already have a life, a fulfilling foundation in front of you. And you're looking back at what could have been here. And you're meant to drop that dead weight, and fall into the life you have around you. And that's the right choice for you. And I'm seeing once you do that, you'll be able to find your rhythm in the pleasure of your life and the happiness of your life that you've been craving. I also drew some oracle cards for this part of the reading and forgot to put them out. But we have Elixir, the Fertile Void. We were talking about the void. Inner Winter, Rest, Patience, Potency, Secret Beginnings. Jupiter. I Am Beautiful. And Stop. Wow. Yeah, stop with this experience. Stop with the past. Stop looking at it. I'm seeing that in this process, though, I think you're why did I waste my time on focusing on this thing past its ending? And there's been beginnings that have been happening even as that happened. So you're not meant to fret or worry about any time spent on this thing. But know that your life is expanding beyond words as you leave this situation behind, and you'll continue to see this expansion as you focus on the things that really fulfill you. I think part of you focused on this thing longer than you needed to because you derived some of your worth from its focus on you. So whenever it left, you projected some things onto it that weren't there. And this might even be something you fantasize about to calm your mind. And you're just meant to change your perspective to focus on the beauty in your life and use that as an elixir. Use that as what calms you. Use your relationship to your higher power as the thing that calms you. And look at your beauty in your higher power's eyes rather than anyone else's. This person is literally, or this thing, whatever it is a void that doesn't have this fertility because it's choosing not to grow. But even as this void happened in your life because of this person, you had a fertile void where all this beauty and all these things were growing. So you're really meant to leave this past situation in its tracks. Stop idealizing it, look at it for what it is, and use the new elixirs in your life to give you nurturance and give you sustenance. I really see you're in a new chapter that's going to bring you a lot of joy. We even have the star on the back of the deck for you. And I think once you leave this behind, you'll be feeling a lot of hope and a lot of inspiration in your life and a lot of fulfillment. Because this person puts you in a lack mindset, and it's time to really surrender to an abundance mindset. So, Pile 1, this is what I'm getting for you. It was an honor to read for you, and I will see you in another reading. Take care. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, if you chose this crystal, then this is your reading on what needs more and what needs less in your life. So we are going to look at the energy of what needs less and what needs more, and then we'll dive into the tarot and go from there. Yeah, so the first energy we have is Saturn. We have the Tear. And we have, I'm going to put it here, a fearful world. And then for what needs more, we have Sugar, the Thread, and Suppression of a Star Being by Hands Unworthy. So far, these readings have been really interesting because what needs less and what needs more is basically a perspective shift for you. And this perspective shift will leave you way more relieved and happy. And this is a perspective shift I have to make daily because it's easy to get caught up in the one that causes strife and anxiety. So what needs less? What needs less is a fixation on the negative, simply. There is a feeling here that in your life you have been taken advantage of, you've hit limits that seem unfair, you've had to grieve really hard things, and it's easy. And also I think you have people around you who are caught in this negative perspective of fear and kind of waiting for the ball to drop. And that being said, you can mitigate the people who cause the stress in your life. You can spend less time with them. But also you can set the boundaries to not think like them, because this perspective only leads to unease. Because we can look at things from a positive light or a negative light. I talk about this in some of my readings, but there's a good wolf and a bad wolf and a good wolf inside of us, and we choose which one we feed, and both are omnipresent. They're always there. So we can hold the space that there is bad, but there's also good. Like, both are true. And you don't have to fixate on the negatives. I think you've done a lot of grieving of your past, and I think honestly you're ready to move on and focus on the future. And I think there's been some limitations in you reaching the fulfillment you seek. And Spirit's saying focusing on those doesn't bring more fulfillment in. You have to really focus on the fulfillment that's already in your life, and focus on what pleasures you, what gives you delight, even in the small things. And you're meant to incorporate that into your everyday practice, and try and continue to add more little things that make you happy, whether that be a certain snack, whether that be holding your cat, whether that be taking a walk outside for 15 minutes. Or skateboarding, like the person going by my apartment's doing. You're meant to find these pleasures in your life and hold on to them dearly and treasure them and realize that they are what life's all about. And if you focus on putting your energy towards that rather than focusing on what appears to be going wrong in your life, because also all of this is an illusion and our ego tells us stories, but things that are going wrong in your life are also helping you reach the things that are going right. It's all a perspective shift. And I can see that sometimes you get into these stressful funks of like preparing for the worst or fixating on what makes you unhappy. And this really is just shifting to focus on what makes you feel good and realizing that there's meaning within the chaos. There's meaning within the things we go through. And I think you have some resentment towards some of the things that happened to you in the past, some of the pains that you went through. And Spirit's saying you don't need to fixate on this or continue to ruminate on these difficulties, because point blank, you were suppressed by hands unworthy. You did not deserve this treatment, and whenever it comes up in your head, you're meant to remind yourself that you didn't deserve this treatment. And this can also be in all areas of our life. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person that suppressed us. There's limitations and difficulties in our world, and you're well aware of that. But naming it as unworthy, naming it as this shouldn't be the case, it's like simplifying this. Like, it's interesting that a 1's here and a 69's here. Like, you can get caught in the stories you tell yourself, or you can point blank be like, I didn't deserve this. This wasn't fair. What happened to that person wasn't fair. There's things in life that aren't fair, and you can name them for what they are and still focus on the good. And I think being connected to other people and finding connection in your life rather than focusing on separation in your life will also make you really happy. Focusing on how God shows up in the little moments in your life, how things seem to be interconnected, surprising coincidences, running into somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, and it just feeling kind of serendipitous, like a higher power is working in your life. Those are the things that will make you have a fulfilling life. And the more you fixate on these pleasures, these happy thoughts, and also assert power for yourself in the fact that these things in the past you didn't do anything wrong to deserve this. Sometimes just bad things happen in life. And you are this beautiful light. And you're meant to focus on that light and focus on that joy and focus on the fact you're a sacred being, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And these negatives will always exist in our lives, but they coexist with positives. And you're choosing to feed the negatives when the positives are there waiting for you to focus on them and receive them. And both can be true. This and that can be true. And I really see that this connection will make you happier. This connection will really enrich your life and bring you back to connection with yourself and the world around you. Because living in fear like this is haunting, and it's like your mind's running on negative thought patterns, so you have to practice shifting your mind to positive thought patterns. And that might feel uncomfortable at first or like a little ridiculous, but you'll feel happier. It's like that thing where if you smile, even if you don't feel like smiling, you feel a little happier. It's like a psychology trick, because our minds are computers and we choose what software they run on. So you're meant to shift your mindset, and that's where you'll find fulfillment. So yes, this fear-based thinking needs less. This abundance mentality needs more for you. So let's look in the tarot for more information for you. And I think you're meant to forgive yourself for things you've done in the past. I'm hearing that Britney Spears song, "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." Oops, I did it again. Got lost in the game. Da 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 da. Oh, baby, baby. Yeah, I think you just need to be more light with yourself about past mistakes and about difficulties that have happened. I think you really put a lot of pressure on yourself to be perfect. And I think there's a lightness with which you're meant to live your life that will give you relief. There's this Buddhist story of these monks who just laughed all the time and had a lightness of spirit because they were able to see the big picture and not be weighed down by the problems of life. And you think of monks as serious and really following their higher power, but this joyfulness is also a way of following your higher power and trusting in it. So let's look at the tarot cards. What does pile 2 need to hear? What does pile 2 need to hear? Okay, that's good. We have the Emperor on the back of the deck. We have 6 of Pentacles, the 6 of Wands in reverse, the 5 of Swords in reverse, the 4 of Swords upright, and the Knight of Wands in reverse. Let's look. Wait, let me make sure it's in frame. All right, and then let's look at the Oracle cards. We have Morning Dew, Clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. Wow. I love whenever these synchronicities hit. Like, damn. I hadn't looked at any of these cards, like, on my honor. So, it's so cool. Yeah, I'm also thinking, like, doing things that make you have joy. Like, I do these tarot videos because they give me fulfillment, and I don't really get anything out of it. I mean, I get to read you guys' comments and help out in some way, hopefully. But I mean, I'm a small account and I've been doing this for almost a year, and I just do it because I love it. And I keep doing it because I love it. If I had that like limited base mentality, I would have given up on this a long time ago, because I would have seen it as something of the ego, something to accomplish. But instead, I just see this as something of my soul that my soul wants to express. So I think that's another way of shifting this perspective to be less egoic, I guess. We have freedom. Yeah, there's freedom in this shift in perspective. Anxiety. Liberation. 2 freedom cards. And Jupiter. And Jupiter came out for the last pile. Yeah, so Spirit's really saying that this shift in perspective will bring you abundance. The more you fixate on this perspective of positivity, the more you'll bring it in, because you're attracting it by making that your reality. So what I'm seeing is you're caught up in some past grief of things that you perceive as failures, conflicts you perceive as, or conflicts that truly were heartbreaking, and times that you felt like you were too impulsive, or you just are really being hard on yourself about your past. And you are meant to free yourself from this negative talk towards yourself, because everyone makes mistakes, and honestly, all of these things that you're hard on yourself about are stories your ego is telling you to make you feel bad. And your soul doesn't want this. I'm hearing that life is a series of giving and a series of receiving, and that's all it's about. And there's all these soul lessons we come here to learn. And you were meant to learn that these perceived failures and these separations with people don't say anything about your worth or who you are. It's just a part of your life, and you're not meant to put judgment on it. It's neither good nor bad, it just is. And you're meant to reach that place of thought. Because I think your true goal, your true desire is to be this confident emperor. And so the reason you're being hard on yourself is because these times make you feel like you weren't in charge, you weren't a leader or strong. You have these perceived stories you tell yourself, these limiting beliefs. But the more you are able to just sit with this and realize it doesn't define you, and these are just lessons you've learned, and you don't need to attach judgment or negative perception towards them, the more you'll rise into this emperor. You think by focusing on them, you'll learn how to be this emperor, but it's by accepting them that you'll become this emperor. Something that I'm really seeing for you is the anxiety you have. It won't just go away the moment you start trying to make this shift, because it's been in your aura, in your body for this long, it'll continue to. But Spirit's really saying the way you find peace of mind is meditating. And I know that's an annoying thing spiritual people say, like, you should meditate, that's what will help you, but that's really what I'm seeing. And meditation always helps me when I feel anxious. And there's a resonance meditation that I always recommend because it's listening to music. And I really feel like the sound frequencies heal me in some way. And I'll link that in the description box. It's really helpful for me. But I think more than anything, you want to be freed of this perspective and freed of this harsh, critical judgment of yourself. And this is how you do it. This is how you're liberated. This is how you find freedom. Freedom from yourself, because you're your own worst enemy. And that's clear here. And the more you work on this, the more you slowly let yourself change your perspective, change your mindset, the more beauty is going to come into your life, the more you'll find fulfillment, the more you'll be able to breathe. And it's really important to realize everyone makes mistakes. No one leaves this earth unscathed or like saintly. Well, I guess people did a while ago, but the saints that's like really rare. And I'm sure, well, I don't want to get into that, but yeah, I see that this perspective shift will change your life, and easy does it. This will happen slowly over time. This isn't like a flip of the switch. This is something you have to, like, I sometimes get into this mindset of fear, and I have to acknowledge it, be aware of the fact I'm in the mindset, and allow myself to shift into a positive mindset. It's not something that just changes and like stays that way forever. It's a process you have to repeat, but it's so worth it. And you're going to feel so much more confident in yourself and happy about your life through this perspective. I'm hearing let bygones be bygones and continue to stay in the present and move forward and do what makes you feel pleasure. You have a fresh start here, and this positive outlook will really change your life. I love that this card came out. It's so beautiful, and it really encapsulates what this reading's all about. So I hope this gave you clarity and a step in the right direction, and continue to do what makes you feel good and continue to figure out what that is, because sometimes you don't know and it takes a bit, but the search is beautiful. It has been for me, at least. So yes, Pile 2, this is your reading. It was an honor to read for you. I will see you in another reading. Take care. Bye. Pile 3, if you chose the Rose Quartz Heart, then this is your reading on what needs less and what needs more. So we are going to look at the energy of what needs less on the left side and what needs more on the right side. And from there we'll go into the tarot, and yeah, I'm excited for this reading. So the first card we have is 10. The second card we have is the One. And the third card we have is Can't Be Caught. For what needs more, we have Winter, the Fault Line, and Your Light. So I meditated before I started your pile, and I use a chakra resonance meditation that I listen to on Spotify, and right after the root chakra, normally it goes to the sacral, and Picture to Burn by Taylor Swift randomly started playing, and I was like, what? So I figured that had to be an omen for your reading. And I'm thinking of state the obvious. I didn't get my perfect fantasy. I realized you loved yourself more than you could ever love me. There's something here about choosing yourself, and Spirit really coming through to deliver you a very important message. This is the kind of message that when Spirit comes through to deliver this, you know that Spirit is favoring you, because this is a lesson that is very difficult to learn, but Spirit's giving you insight into how to get over it and into the fact it's there in the first place. And when I feel a certain type of energy when a reading like this comes through. And if you have chosen this pile, I really feel like this is really a divine gift, this message. And I just, I asked before I started taping that Spirit channel through me the message that I want to give you, because I don't want to butcher this, but I'm a human and I can do the best I can. So yeah, I'm just the vessel, so Spirit's gonna hopefully speak through me. So there's a way you perceive relationships and a way you perceive going after the things you want, where rather than, it's almost as though you run over red flags. You don't look at the red flags of a situation or caution signs, and you really once you set your heart on something, you go after it with all you have. And it's almost as though you think anything can be worked through, and you have this stubbornness to you where even when something wants to keep moving or doesn't want to be contained, you figure there's another path to it. And I think that you have this kind of all or nothing approach to this, where, especially in relationships, I'm seeing you really, like, when it gets hard, thinking that things will work out if you just do the right thing or say the right thing or fix a part of yourself. And I think you really lose yourself in this pursuit of getting what you desire. And it feels like you're externalizing this sacred presence, because you feel when you love something, when you achieve something you desire, you feel that sacredness, and you feel that connection to Spirit in those relationships or with those things, that those goals you have that are might be to do with career or family, to do with legacy. You continue to fight even when it's clear that this isn't meant for you. You fight, you live in a fantasy of it, and I feel like you don't realize that it's true fantasy or the fact you're living in a fantasy until it crashes and burns. You continue to think that if you are delicate with the matter, or you approach it delicately and with love, the situation will change. And what Spirit's saying is, moving forward, I think you've just had an instance where you did this and you were very much hurt by this perspective you had, because something wanted to be free, someone or something wanted to be free and move forward. And you continued to think that this could change and that this was still right for you when all the signs were cautioning you that this wasn't on stable ground and this wasn't meant for you. And what Spirit's saying is, moving forward, you're meant to realize that the reason you were so drawn to this thing was because you felt the sacredness in the connection you had in pursuing whatever this was, whether it be a person or something to do with your legacy. I'm feeling that very strongly. And Spirit's saying, moving forward, we're sending you in blessings. We're sending you in what's really meant for you. Right now, you're in this winter period. And winter also is like this moment of stillness. It's the beginning of the seasons. Whenever it's talked about in mythology or folklore, it's the first season. And it's the one where everything stands still. One metaphor used for it is it's the breath, or it's the space between an exhale and an inhale, when the breath has been released before a new breath is drawn. It's that space, that intermediary space. And the way you get through winter is with fire. So the fact this fire card came out with this is really sacred. And fire is known in spirituality to be something that reminds us of the sacred gift of being on earth, and how divine this experience is when we normalize it or become desensitized to it. And this fire can warm us in the winter when things are frozen, when time stands still, when we have this pause in our lives. And what I'm seeing is you really don't want this pause, so you fight for things that are clear that they aren't working. And what Spirit's saying to you is, rather than going at things with this mentality that it must work out no matter what, you're meant to look at it with the mentality that you're meant to look for the bad side of things. You're meant to see these red flags. You're meant to see these caution signs. They are not to be avoided moving forward. I'm hearing that the right thing is coming for you. Whatever you've been craving that wasn't working out here, the right thing's coming in. But so are other tests where caution signs and roadblocks will be halting you to not go forward to this thing. And one part of you might feel the sacredness or the divinity in one of these tests and forget that you have this flame within you to keep you warm during this winter. And you might rush towards a new flame because you're looking for this flame in other people and you're forgetting you have it within yourself. And the way you stay warm in a winter when there's nothing going on in this place you desire, in this area you desire, is by leaning on your natural flame, leaning on your connection to source, leaning onto the spark within you. And if you project your spark out onto other people, your spark will go out because you'll lose that divine connection you have, and you have to reignite it. And I'm seeing that Spirit's saying that in this pause, in this moment before what you hope for comes in, you're really meant to treasure this fire within you. And really, as things start to come in that look like they could be what you desire, you're meant to focus on what red flags are here, what signs are cautioning me, what isn't right about this, how is this fantasy rather than reality. And you'll know when it's safe, you'll know when the situation is what's meant for you, because there won't be these red flags. It will be clear that the sacredness in it is meant to match your sacredness, and the fire within it is meant to connect with the fire within you rather than take from your fire. This feels like a dead end that you continue to keep fighting for, that you continue to keep trying to climb the wall of this dead end. And this side is really surrendering to the fact that this was never meant for you, and that you don't need to continue to fight for this, and know that when something's meant to work out for you, it will expand naturally. It will work out naturally. You don't have to fight against all this resistance. You'll be magnetized toward things, and things will be magnetized towards you, and you won't feel this resistance. And the reason you're continuing to fight for this is because you see the sacredness in it and think this is the only way you'll get it. But the sacredness starts within you, and it's everywhere. The sacredness is in everything, and you can't project it just onto one person or one goal. You don't need anyone to save you because you have the same fire that anyone else has. Nothing needs to save you. And this perspective shift, I think, is really going to help you raise in your confidence. And I really feel like this springtime shift, this shift into newness and the sacredness you want externally is coming. You just can't accept less than you deserve. You have to show that you see the red flags. You're really meant to follow what feels warm, what makes you feel warm inside, what gives you that nurturance. You're meant to follow your North Star, and stars are made of fire. So really you're meant to just follow this warmth, even when you feel the coldness of solitude or the stillness. I think you're uncomfortable in the stillness. You want to move. You want passion, but you can find passion in the stillness. It's inside of you. And I think maybe you struggle to look within yourself, and it's easier to look outside of yourself for these things. But by looking inside yourself, what you want externally will attract you faster. And really what Spirit's cautioning you with is anything that comes into your life that looks like this beauty that you want, really pay attention to the red flags. Don't project onto it what you want it to be. Be realistic about what it is, because there are going to be things that come in that aren't for you. And Spirit's wanting to see if you're able to register what is versus what isn't. And that's by staying true to the light that's within you. Let's get into the tarot. So, what does Pile 3 want to hear? Okay. We have the Moon in reverse, the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Cups in reverse, the Queen of Cups. One more. Two more. We have the Eight of Wands and the Ace of Wands, or Ace of Swords in reverse. And then we have oracle cards. So we have the Petals, Transformation, Death and Rebirth, Shedding, Alt Change. We have Emily Dickinson, the Soul. We have Joy. We have Sagittarius. And we have Passion. You need to be honest with yourself about what you truly want. And I think you really project that onto whatever or whoever comes into your life. And you're meant to be really brutally honest with yourself over if the things entering your life are really that. Because I think if you allow yourself to be brutally honest, you'll have a very good vetting system in your mind. Emily Dickinson was very true to herself. And I'm seeing you're meant to absolutely be yourself in whatever situation you're in. If you feel you have to conform or act differently or not be true to yourself, then this is not the right relationship for you. This is not the right path for you. Because what I'm seeing is whatever this path is, you're going to feel incredibly blissful, incredibly happy with whatever situation this is. And you won't be stressed about it. You'll just feel light and you'll feel passionate. And you're really wanting this passion in your life. You're really wanting this zest for life. And you're meant to trust that this is coming in. You don't know how this is going to come in, and that's how it's meant to be. With the moon and the Ace of Swords in reverse, this is being hidden from you. How this comes in, what this is completely hidden. These exchanges are taking place though, and the more you balance out your life and are yourself, are true to who you are, the sooner this will come in. And the more you're honest with yourself about what you need and honest with yourself and honest to others about what you need, this will come in faster. And I just see communication being really big here, and being true to yourself and allowing yourself to be yourself in situations, and the people who understand, and the people who don't. When you find this passion, when you find what's truly aligned with your soul, the sacredness, it's going to light you up. You're not going to have to project anything onto it. It just will be exactly what you've been looking for. And Spirit's really making it clear that you're not meant to know when this will happen, or with who it'll happen, or with what it'll happen. Just know that balance out your life. Don't take less than you deserve in relationships. Only be in relationships that allow you to be who you are and love you for it and make you truly happy. And give yourself nurturance, give yourself self-care, give yourself love, and be brutally honest with yourself about situations that don't serve you. And don't make the fact they serve you, don't write any stories about that in your head that it has anything to do with your self-worth. Just tell yourself it doesn't align, because that's the truth. It just energetically doesn't align. And the more you try to force those situations to fit, the longer it'll take for the true situations that'll give you true peace and happiness to come in. You're meant to be truly confident in yourself and not feel like you need anyone else. They'll just add, or anything else, it'll just add to your life. Yeah, there's a horse and carriage going by my apartment.
Your apartment is nicer than mine.
And that reminds me that something's coming in for you. Something that is truly right for you is coming in. But be honest with yourself. Don't try and let things make things fit if they don't fit. There's multiple things coming in, so just be clear with yourself about whether you're in fantasy or in reality. Because I see a haze over this, that you have to be the one to figure this out. And I think the way that you do that is by being yourself, noticing your happiness level towards this thing. And I think you'll really be able to find it when you're feeling passionate towards yourself and your life without this thing, and then it'll be attracted in pretty naturally. So pile 3, this is what I'm getting for you. I see it's fated you'll learn this lesson. Just choose yourself. That's what's coming through very strongly. And yeah, I really appreciate everyone who listens to my readings. And yeah, you guys all mean so much to me. And I will see you in another reading. Take care. Bye. Hey, pile 4, if you chose the opalite, then this is your reading on what needs more and what needs less in your life. So we're going to look at what needs less on this side and what needs more. Then we'll dive into the tarot and look at everything you need to know. So for what needs less, we have calcification, the storm, and death of the deceitful. And for what needs more, we have wise salt, sal sapiente, the lover, and laughing and crying. Okay. So, pile 4. What needs less and what needs more? Well, so this has to do with how you process endings in your life. And this is really a perspective shift and a way to see the beauty in endings and be able to see how they positively affect your future. Because right now it seems like you are really struggling to accept endings in your life. And I think you've had some traumatic endings in the past, and they make you really fearful of endings in your present moment. I think also makes you a little bit fearful to be active in your life because you're scared of these changes and you're scared of this intensity and not making it through the storms. And you're scared of harm being done, and you're really scared of intensity. And so I feel like you are kind of in this stagnant spot where you aren't allowing yourself to experience these things. And Spirit's saying every experience you have is wisdom you can use in the future, and nothing is wasted. And you can change your perspective on this to realize that there's good in the bad and bad in the good. And even the things that devastated you and the difficulties you've had, they've brought you into new chapters of new happiness and good times. And I think you're more focused on the pain of the ending rather than the truth of the situation and what's led to better and the good in your life. And I feel like you're scared to put yourself out there because you're scared of this pain happening again. But Spirit's saying everything you lose is a step you take. That's a Taylor Swift, You're on Your Own Kid. You're meant to be a bit more fearless in your life and to trust that Spirit's taking care of you. And there's some beauty, there's some really beautiful things that are trying to come into your life, some very beautiful romantic things. This could be expressed in art and music and love. And Spirit's saying that you're meant to garner this wisdom and live through these experiences. And when you look on the past, on these things that ended, you can hold two truths at once. You can hold the truth that there was beautiful parts to it, and you can also hold the truth that it was really hard when it ended. Both can be true. I'm being reminded of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and how they try to erase their memories, but basically the moral of it is that the memory is worth the pain. And there's something here about you fixating on the pain of past experiences and being scared to move forward. And Spirit's saying the first step to healing this is by looking at the positives in the situations that have caused you pain and given you this fear. And look at what they've taught you, and look at what you've learned from these lessons so that you don't recreate the same patterns. Spirit's saying you've really grown through what you've gone through, and it's time for you to experience some really beautiful stuff. And all you have to do is it's like you're a bird who is using their wings for the first time, and you just need to get out there and fly to your next destination. And it's almost as though you're preparing for the worst because of this past trauma. And you're really meant to find the wisdom within it and the beauty within these experiences too, and the experiences that made you joyful. And I just see really positive, beautiful experiences trying to come in for you. And you're just meant to say yes to them and not fixate on how they're going to end or what's going to happen, but really stay present to them and trust that whatever's going to be will be transformative. Whatever is going to be will change your life and lead to better, because everything in your life that's happened has been transformative and brought you closer to yourself or further along in your path and to new experiences and new dreams. And life is constantly changing. It's constantly in flux. And it seems like you've gone through a series of difficulties that kind of beat you down, and you have to change your perspective on them and sit with them and really heal this to continue to roll with the changing tides of life. And I see you're going to do this. It's more so of getting out of this mindset of what's going to happen next, this fear-based mindset, and garnering the strength to take each day as it comes and trust that the beautiful things make the difficulties worth it. And staying present and not future tripping about what's going to happen or catastrophizing, and trusting that the best is coming in for you. And if something doesn't stay, it's because better is meant to come in and you'll learn a valuable lesson anyway. So I think you really want to know how things end with these 2 third eye cards here. And you're just meant to stay present to these experiences and not judge them, but observe what's happening and learn from them. There's a lot about learning here and trusting that these situations make you into the person you're meant to be. And that's a very beautiful person. So I'm getting this image of someone walking through a desert, and it's hot and intense, but the view is beautiful, and there's an oasis around the corner. And there's something about this being one of those things where it's about the journey and not the destination, and you're missing out on a lot of beauty by fearing the worst. So let's get into the tarot cards now, why don't we? Because I have a good feeling. What does Pile 4 need to hear? What does Pile 4 need to hear? Okay, what way does this one go? That's like halfway. Okay. 5 of Swords upright. 6 of Wands upright. 4 of Swords in reverse. Knight of Wands upright. Can we get one more? Please. Okay, 2. That's fine. The 10 of Swords and the 8 of Swords in reverse. And then we have some oracle cards to look at as well. We have the Peacock. Strength. Lunar eclipse. held, sureness of the soil, unseen help, support, community. And we have passion. You're really meant to accept this passion back into your life. I think that's the main thing that's lacking at this time. So, pile 2 might have some messages for you as well. So similar cards came out. What I'm seeing for you is these endings formed you into who you're meant to be. And they gave you the strength you're meant to have. This Ten of Swords looks a lot like the Strength card. And I'm seeing that these difficult endings, these painful lessons, made you into the person you're meant to be. I say this sometimes, but a warrior is not a warrior if they haven't been to battle. You've had to fight. And there's been really stressful experiences, and it hasn't always been easy. But Spirit's really letting you know that when you go out there and continue this fight, you're going to be victorious and you're going to find your passion again. And the reason things didn't work out in the past was because you had a gift to share that wasn't fit for the situations you were in. And Spirit took you out of that to bring you to where you needed to be. And Spirit's also saying that you have a community and you have help, even from the spirit realm, when things are difficult. And you are held, and you aren't alone anymore. And I feel like when these past difficulties happened, you felt very alone. And that's not the case at this point. And I really see your self-limiting beliefs and your mental health really healing over the next few months. And the next lunar eclipse, from when you're watching this, I really see a new chapter starting where the things from the past really fall away. But you're meant to heal out the remainder of this fear and realize that a new day is dawning, and you can learn from those experiences and continue on with a lightness of spirit and know that this beauty and this happiness is coming towards you. And the reason you went through such hard things in the past was to make you strong and to make you who you were meant to be for this portion of your life, for the chapter you're entering. And your passion is coming back. I think that's something you're kind of exhausted. I think you're just burnt out from all of the experiences you've had, and you're meant to heal. And this passion will start to come back in your life, and that's when you'll start to see these successes in your life. I think the lunar eclipse will be a time where this abundance really is pouring in. You're meant to ask for help and find the support in your life, and really trust that the past experiences didn't happen to you, they happened for you to make you into a more resilient, complex individual. And in the spiritual realm, I can see you are a very strong warrior, and Spirit doesn't put people through challenges unless they can handle them. So this means you have a very strong soul, that you've been through such difficulty. And as you heal from these past experiences and open yourself up to the new, you're going to be liberated and find a lot of happiness and contentment in your life. I have a very good feeling about this, and you're just meant to rest until you feel it's time to move forward and just heal from these catastrophes of your past and believe that they're in the past, and just stay present. Don't future trip. Trust that good is coming in as you heal. I'm going to pull some affirmative tarot cards because your reading's running a little short. I always find that pile 4 has more succinct messages, and it's interesting. Also, my energy might be a little depleted at this point in the readings, but it is what it is. So we have the 7 of Swords. I take great care of what I value. 3 of Wands. I have the energy I need to realize my goals. 9 of Cups. I trust in the flow of life. And the Queen of Cups. I trust my knowing and follow my heart. I think what happened in the past, there was violence taken towards you. There was selfishness and violence and difficulty. And Spirit's saying that you are a treasure and you won't find this violence in the future, but you must heal from it. And you are this very pure soul, and I think you know deep down that there's this beauty coming into your life, but you fear it. You fear being hurt again. And you're meant to rest now and really just take care of yourself to counteract the pain of the past. And with this rest, I see the more you rest, the more energy you'll cultivate to realize your goals. And this passion will come in the right time, in divine timing, and you're meant to trust in the flow of life and the rhythm of life as it's happening now to you. And I really see that your intuition is strengthening, and you'll really be able to trust where you're headed and trust your emotions. You're going to see the progression of your healing throughout these next few months and into the lunar eclipse, if you allow yourself to heal. I'm seeing a focus on your mental health and prioritizing healing from these events. That'll be how you take steps forward. So to close, we're going to look at the Universe Has My Back cards for pile 4. Oh, so many came out. That's a sign that the universe has your back. I wasn't going to take them all, but I'm feeling like I should. I'm a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. Exactly. God doesn't put people through challenges unless their spirit is strong enough to go through them. So know that you have a very strong spirit, and this pain that you're feeling will pass. We have, my faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. Yes, the more you rely on your higher power, the more you come into relationship with your higher power, the more you'll be able to heal. A tree doesn't worry about becoming a tree when it's a sapling. It just trusts in the process, and I'm seeing that's what you're meant to do as well. I find a deeper meaning in personal growth amidst discomfort. Yeah, there's something about this pain you've been through really turning you into who you're meant to be, and the moon cycles are definitely very important for you. And yeah, we have obstacles or detours in the right direction. So just trust that you're on the path you're meant to be on, and this discomfort and these obstacles are bringing you where you're meant to be and to a beautiful, beautiful experience, and you're just meant to trust in your higher power that they're leading you where you're meant to be, and everything will make sense in the end. I'm hearing That's Where I Am by Maggie Rogers. It all works out in the end. Wherever you are, that's where I am. So maybe give that a listen. But pile 4, this is what I'm getting for you. There is so much love surrounding you, and I can see beauty just coming towards you, and you're just meant to become receptive to it and trust in it. So yeah, this is what I'm getting for you. It was an honor to read for you. I'll see you in another reading. Take care. Bye.